You said that you're teaching in the university. You have different cultures, different nationalities, different upbringings, different limiting beliefs. How is it for you as a professor?
Yeah, tell us some juicy incidents.
Your first day.
Oh my God. Teaching is a very interesting thing to do. So the thing is, during my PhD, I used to teach then, but it was like smaller groups and everything. And they were all kind of like similar to me. So not much changed, right?
Is it a big lecture hall?
Now it is, and it's a big class. But you do realize immediately that a lot of them come in already switched off because they're used to just sitting there. They need to do attendance. They're like, okay, I'm just going to zone out and be on my phone and scroll through.
Passive listening. This is
passive, 100% passive. Totally. Right? So the first day I went in, I was like, how do I get them to be a bit more interested? Because I remember my 9 a.m. lectures, and I have a 9 a.m. class. I would actually fall asleep. I would be there like, I mastered the skill of doing this and just sleeping peacefully. So I was like, okay.
Creating impact.
I was like, no one is going to fall asleep in my class. So the first day I was like, just so you know, I will randomly pick on anyone at any time.
We do this.
And I was like, we're going to start by everybody telling me their name. And I brought in the little stickers. I was like, stick your name here. So it's easy for me to call you. On the first day, we're getting to know each other. I will put mine as well. So you can call me by my name. And that already, like, everyone is now like, oh no, she's going to ask us questions.
I need to pay attention.
And I actually didn't pick on anyone. And at the end of the class, I told them, why do I need to put in a rule for you to listen? I don't want to be this like pressured class. We are here to have fun, and we have a very interesting topic. We talk about the philosophical sides of AI, the ethics around implementing AI, and how does that compete with the legislation around it. And I was like, I want to hear your thoughts. You're the ones who will be building all of this tomorrow. So I want to know how you will be approaching this. I don't want to tell you. Let's have a very in a workshop setting. I don't want to call you out. And if you don't want to be in the class, I will put you as present. Don't come in though, because you're going to drag the energy down. And since then, everyone is there. And I am also the type where I struggle with them a little bit, because they're like, oh, we have an influencer teacher. So, the first few questions are like, oh, miss, what do you do on Instagram? Miss, I follow you on YouTube. And I was like, okay.
It's the generation, right?
It's the generation. It's Gen Z. And they are very different. Very. And a lot of them are also COVID kids, right? So they missed out on the formative years of school. So they don't really know how to interact with other people.
Socialization,
really bad. And a lot of them think, I just want to pass this class and be done. I would force them to actually interact with each other and like do group exercises, bring them to the front. And I realized that one big issue we have, which is crazy, is that they are still shy.
Yes, very much.
Especially with their peers. Yes, there's so much bravery on the keyboard.
Very much.
But in person,
that's a good one. I have to remember that.
They're called keyboard warriors, right? They're going to be there writing the worst things possible.
Yes.
But in person, so shy.
Yes.
And I would send them to present, and everybody's sitting there, and they're standing like this, just reading off the screen. And I was like, what is going on? I was like, am I there? I'm here. Look at me.
Yeah, it's amazing.
And then it started with standing with the hand here and just talking. And I'm like, sorry, why is your hand there? And then he was like, oh, I didn't realize. And I was like, yeah, put your hands down. And it's just these very small things. And I think they saw me as this like really interesting teacher where I would call them out. I'm like their peers almost. There's not big age gap.
Exactly.
But I will call them out. I'm not very nice, but I'm friendly somehow.
Yes, but they like coming to your class because you're different.
Yeah, so now it's very different. And then I have this anonymous survey where they need to give me feedback. And everyone was super nice. One person said, there's no other thing other than Sheen is a bad teacher. I was like, okay, I know exactly who this is. I went up to him being like, did you fill in the survey? Started sweating. I was like, oh, it's anonymous. Don't worry. What did you say on the survey? And then he was like, I'm so sorry, miss. I did not mean it. I was like, oh, so you're coming out to be telling me that it's you.
Guilty conscience.
And I was like, why did you say that? He was like, oh, miss, because you did not give me good marks on my presentation and I worked really hard on it. And I said, okay, did you come to me for feedback? When you got really bad marks on it, did you ask me why? He was like, no, miss, I didn't, because I thought it was bad already. And I was like, okay, how about we work on it? I'll give you another chance to redo it, but this time ask me for feedback. And he was like, cool, great. And now he just messaged me 2 days ago. He got a first class, and he was like, I can't believe this, miss. You changed my life. Also, the miss bothers me.
They'll always remember you. It's okay. It's
you are their teacher, so the myths
I know.
actually make sense.
It does. But no, that just goes to this. So one thing I've learned over the 1 year I've been teaching here especially is that a lot of students have now been programmed to think I just need a degree.
Yeah.
I don't need to learn. I need a degree. I know exactly what I want to do afterwards. It has nothing to do with this degree. I just need to pass. So trying to break that mindset is what I do every start of class. I try to make it interesting for them. Try to bring in something that relates, like, Elon Musk said this on Twitter. Did you see?
You have to relate to that.
You do.
Category.
And then you immediately break them out of that mindset. Oh, this is not just a lecture. Let me see what I can learn from this. Yeah. And then they start to push their boundaries. But it's a challenge because, you have different temperaments, you have different personalities in the class, and you have different cliques, you have different ways of learning. So there's a lot of hand-holding that needs to happen, but it's just about recognizing that students are different. And there's that whole analogy of you can't ask a monkey and a fish to compete climbing a tree, because that fish will never make it.
Right.
So you need to know the students and where they can shine and just help them as much as you can.
Yeah. And as I always said, like I said to our management and transformational leadership class, it's like you're being a psychologist at the same time.
All the time.
Because you have to know, again, to get back to the style of the communication, how do I communicate with them? Because how you communicate with that student is not the same way you communicate with the other. And same thing with staff and employees, how you communicate with even your relatives.
100%.
Your mom is different than your dad. I know what I have to say to my mom, and it's changed the dynamics for me 110% from when I was younger to now. An incident just recently happened when we were training in the Caribbean, and they're getting older, so I have to learn to have patience. And they always say once a man, twice a child. And they're the two smartest, most switched on people I know. Actually, someone heard her voice the other day and said, "Why are you talking to yourself?" I said, "No, it's my mother." "That's your mother." "She's talking fast and she sounds just like you." I said, "No, I sound like her." But the point is, she just needed a hug, because I understood in the communication that she was complaining about something, but it was just because she needed attention and love.
Exactly.
And it's not that she needed anything. So instead of
solutions,
being, instead of butting heads and conflicting with her, I learned to let it go. Now I have a twin. I'm a twin, and they're so much alike. They butt heads, so I had to tell him, let it go. Just let it go. She's 84, he's 87. They still dance and they have a great time and they travel. Wow. So they're young, But the thing is, 84, leave him alone. Like he's got to prove his
They're
point.
not going to change at this point.
Do you need to be correct or do you need peace?
Exactly.
With many things.
Battles.
Yeah, and it's even with management, with certain stuff. We spoke about that today. You have some employees, maybe they give good work, they're doing good. And there are some things you have to use your judgment. Do I let that go? I can speak to them and let it go, or I can just push on it, and then it somehow dimmens their spark.
Yeah.
So
I think it's all about priorities, right? I mean, what's
100%.
more important for you, for them, for the company? So there's a greater good in it. Unfortunately, a lot of times people talk about, here's what we want you to do, here's how I want you to do it, and here's how it's going to help the company. So we keep telling them, do you realize you've missed out a very crucial part? It's not the what and the how and the outcome. You've missed out the why. And people unfortunately associate the why with the outcome. Because why? Well, because it's company profit.
Yeah, to make money.
Yeah.
No. The why is not about the company. The why is it important for him or her to do this? So that personal relevance, if it's not there, the old adage of what's in it for me.
I'm just going to say that, yes.
Yeah, if there's nothing in it for me,
why would I bother?
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll do my normal.
Why would I give it my best?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So what's in it for me? Now, because they're thinking that's why as a manager, you should always be thinking, okay, if I tell them to do this, what's in it for them? So that me becomes the them.
100%.
And if you prepare your messages based on that, it's much more likely to get through to them and take effect.
100%.
So that's the thing. You mentioned about the Gen Z. Some of the challenging ones.
I'm just going to ask a question about Gen Z.
Oh, you're going to go ahead?
No, go for it. Because
I was just going to.
We're so connected now that I was just smiling because I said, he's probably going to ask the same thing, because we're together so long that even when we do trainings, we're about to say the same thing.
Yeah.
So, yes, please go ahead.
My question was going to be more like Gen Z. Do they actually challenge you point blank?
I mean, it's interesting, right? Because we also have that hierarchical relationship. They probably are not that comfortable, but they would say their point in maybe a bit of a shy way.
Yeah.
But they will tell me. So, for example, we had this coursework where they need to talk about how social media is affecting the world. Okay, and how
Right.
AI will change that.
Right.
And a lot of times they will put heavy emphasis on the negatives because that's what they think I want. But I was like, but you're all on social media. It can't be that bad. Why do you use social media? And trying to push them back. But then they will push back, being like, we use it just because everyone uses it.
Yeah.
From a young age, I had to be on Instagram because people will just be like, you're not cool.
Yeah.
And then they will push back in the sense where they feel very strongly about it. Then they feel a bit more confident. But they do challenge. But I do think, unfortunately, that the way society is going, the way we are living online, a lot of us, it is really affecting the confidence of the young people.
It is. And it's interesting you mentioned because the age difference is not that big.
No.
For them to bring it up to you and have a chat with you and discuss it with you, whether it's positive, negative, disagreement, but they're still willing
There's
to
a level
do it.
of comfort.
Yeah. When they are dealing with the older generation, they don't actually want to speak up. They just shut up and keep quiet about it. Because there's too much of a, we used to call it generation gap. It's much more than that. It's like a big difference.
100%.
So it's like, right? And unfortunately, a lot of the managers that we deal with are people that have been in that post for like 15 years and 18 years. And they're now
Big
dealing
disconnect.
with Gen Z. I'm going like, no, you can't change them. You got to change your mindset. Right? Because if you're still living in the 80s and the early 90s, that's not the style that's going to work with them. So you got to learn to change your own mindset.
That's so interesting. I was talking to someone who is in leadership and a bit older, and he was like, oh, I can't believe these Gen Zs. One of them came up to me and being like, I need a mental health day. He was like, why would I give them a mental health day? We all need mental health days. I was like, listen, it's just a sick leave. Just give them a sick leave. For you, it's a sick leave. For them, they're like, my body is not sick. My head is sick and I want to rest it.
Exactly.
And I was like, it's fine. You need to understand that for them, it's very important because now there's a bit more conversation around mental health and they think it's a priority. So again, it's a little change of mindset and choosing your battles. He just wants a sick leave. Give him just a day off. That's it. And imagine how happy this employee will be that, oh, my manager gave me a mental health day off. Right? So it's just about changing
it means
that.
so much more for him now that,
Exactly.
And the way we process. No, actually, I was going to speak about the phone situation. And I just find that there's no conversation. I mean, restaurants, when you go out, even, and you see a family, everybody's on their own phone.
Or iPads.
Oh,
iPads.
Yeah,
exactly.
Well, I can bring that up. Silly me. When I had the restaurants, I figured, because one of my restaurants were in a hotel, so it's families. So I went to the printer and I had placemats made with the coloring. I had three things like the connect the dots, coloring, and fill in the names or whatever. And I remember I bought maybe I said, 1,000 pieces to see how it would go. And then I went to the dollar store and we bought the 4-pack crayons because you only need yellow, green,
of
blue,
course.
And the kids, I'd always offer it because it had the kiddie menu on it also. They'd pop out that iPad, whether they were in a stroller or and I had high chairs because it gave parents the time, but it's dulling the senses of the children because there's no conversation.
None.
Not at all.
Are you kidding? In my house, growing up every Sunday, no matter how busy my parents were, when mom was at the hospital, my dad was in the city because he booked every day from Staten Island to Manhattan and back on the ferry and the train. Sunday was our day for all of us. We were in the university and we sit down and eat a proper dinner and we have conversation.
Yes.
They don't have that anymore.
They don't.
Family values have also changed based on that. I mean, it's hilarious to see a family of 7. You have the mom and dad and children, and you have the nanny.
The nannies,
and including the nanny, everyone's
on their phone.
on their phone.
Yes.
Everyone's on a screen.
Yes.
And I'm going like, are you serious? You're all sitting there, and the dinner actually proceeds like this.
Yeah.
Food comes in. Oh.
Yep.
Yeah. I
No
was
conversation.
totally appalled. We had a vacation, and I showed you my nieces are in their 30s, but the youngest one is 16. This is my brother's kids, and we have family vacation because my parents are older and we all want to be together. So we have at the family home, the villa, the table's like 12 for 12. So I always prepare, I do everything for the breakfast, but we go out to dinner. So the 16-year-old, such a 16-year gap that, we always say we're Eutons, we're strong, we do many things. And the youngest one comes to the table and we have to literally pull words out of her. The difference between the 30-year-olds and her, the last one. So my poor parents, they're in the 80s, they're like, what do we do? She comes to the table in the morning, like, did you sleep good? Yeah. But there's no expression even. So she always looks angry. I always buy gifts
It's
for
an
everyone.
unimpressed face.
Yes. I was saying that, what do they call it? This pausing bitch face or whatever you call it?
Resting bitch
face. And so I'm like, so I told my parents, is she happy? And my parents are so sweet.
We're figuring it out.
And their grandchild, we don't know. She's so different. So my brother is Generation Z.
Yeah.
But they're like, she's on the phone. She's no conversation with the rest of us. Because we're a very talkative family.
Yeah.
And she's, are you okay? Good morning. So I gave everybody a gift and I get a cute little ring because she's in that jewelry stage. And like 2 days later, I'm like, did you like it? I was like, she didn't say, they
She'll
call me
text you.
TT. Yeah. But
She
they
probably will, yeah.
They told my brother said we're in the same apartment because we're like a family building and everybody has a little. So she's with her dad. And he said, she's in the next room. She's texting me, Dad, I need this. And he's like, come out here and talk to me. But it's a whole gap for us, even training.
It's a different style. Totally.
But it's not just Gen Z though, because I went to Turkey recently with my family. We were on a cruise, and at the table next to us, there's this couple who is on their honeymoon. They are on their phones and not talking to each other.
No.
And then at one point she's like, "Oh, look, nice photo," and then she just goes back. I was like, "What's going on?"
I love you.
Yeah.
Let's look at the view.
Yeah, literally that's it. It's like photo ops, and
They're
then that's
probably
it.
taking a text. Are we supposed to be together tonight?
Yeah, literally. But then it's like, what's happening, right? And even me, I've realized that even sometimes when I hang out with a group of friends, even though my whole work is on my phone, I'm the only one who doesn't have my phone in my hand. And that's probably why, because for me it's work. So I'm like, I don't want it. But then there was this whole study that they did where, a lot of times you'll notice what people do at dinner or at lunch, they'll put their phone on the table, but they flip it.
Yeah.
Yes.
So they're showing you, out of respect, I'm not going to look at it. But that's bad. It's a bad sign because that phone is there, and subconsciously the phone is there.
Yeah.
He's still connected to that phone. If it rings, he will pick it up.
Yes.
Right? And then that shows that once it's there, the other person automatically disconnects.
My gosh.
So your phone should never be on the table.
I have a friend, when you go to their house for dinner, they have a little basket.
I love
They collect
that.
everybody's phone, and it's there until the dinner is over.
I love that.
I do too.
My start off sentence is, hey, I'm so glad we were able to catch up. I'm actually going to put my phone away. I didn't ask him to do it. I'm going to put my phone away.
You're doing it, yeah.
Yeah, and then you kind of have that
I have to follow suit now.
Yes.
I'm forced to.
guilty kind
But
of
now,
thing.
with the smart watch as well, every now and then you'll see,
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
oh, I got a message. Oh, I
And you
got a
hear it
message.
as well. Zzz.
Yeah, use the little vibration.
They get up in the morning, first thing is the phone.
Yeah.
I know.
It's so bad, by the way, for anyone who's listening to have especially with 5G, to have the phone near your bed. There's more, I don't know if you noticed.
The waves,
because of
right?
The waves, is more brain cancer now because the people that are wearing the AirPods and everything also.
Yeah, people keep saying to go back to wired headphones now. But so for me, the problem is every time I wake up, I check my alarm goes and I start going through all the notifications, all the fires that I need to put out.
Yeah.
So I wake up with cortisol,
Yeah.
right? So then what I started doing is I put my phone in a different room to charge, and I put a physical alarm clock. And then I switch it off. And then after I've woken up properly, I go to check my phone because I would wake up stressed out.
It's interesting though. I do follow similar patterns to you.
Yeah.
But I think it's also the way you've kind of trained yourself. Because I do have it for alarm. I'm traveling all the time. I can't have physical alarms everywhere. That's an extra thing to carry.
Yes.
So I have my alarm on the phone. I keep it a little distance away. So as soon as the alarm rings, I hear it, switch off the alarm, and then I put my phone in my bag.
Okay.
Then I go. So
So you don't look.
I don't look through anything.
Yeah,
right?
I don't have that kind of self-restraint.
Yeah.
I actually have it away, but I need it in the morning because I do prayer first and then meditation, and it's on the phone. But I only use it for that. But I don't open
You don't open
WhatsApp,
notifications.
and I don't.
Yeah.
No.
That's
and
good.
I'm in that alpha state, so I want to manifest. You know me.
Yeah.
So I do that first.
True. Can you believe?
It's already an hour.
I know.
You know, Sheen, you must come back to be with us again.
Happy to.
I will. It's been a delight to have you. You have so much to say, and you have so much background richness of experience. We enjoyed very much having you, and we wish you the very best with your students and with your businesses. You're amazing, and thank you for being with us.
Thank you. With all your abundance of information and experiences, I think the next time I know I'm going to come more prepared with questions to ask you. Because life is all about, I believe life is learning all the time. And you learn from everyone that you meet.
Agreed.
Yes.
So I look forward to seeing you again. I look forward to meeting up with you when I'm back in Dubai again, or wherever else in this world, because
Exactly.
nowadays you never know.
I want to say one thing about that. I always say when I speak, if you're the smartest one in your group, it's time to get a new group. I'm very proud to have you in my group of queens that I consider very good friends. And just keep shining, doing what you're doing, live your passion. And you've done so much in 3 years. And we continue to wish you the very best, and come back to us.
Thank you so much for having me and for the very sweet words. And honestly, we need to do part 2.
Yes.
Yeah.
Would love that. Would love
The
that.
only thing is, after what she said about having you in the group of queens,
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, I'm leaving.
You're not in it. Sorry.
Definitely not a queen. You can fan us and feed us grapes.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And we look forward to having another episode.
Yeah.
And we'll see you all soon.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, you can get in touch and we can kind of organize something. Thank you.
Done.
Close it off. Cheers.